Have you ever felt so small that the world seems to swallow you whole? A tiny drop of dew, gazing at the horizon, dreaming of power. It sits alone on its emerald stage, a silent witness to the dawn. Within its transparent sphere, it carries the reflection of a universe it cannot reach. The horizon beckons with whispers of greatness. Below, the distant stream sings a song of movement and purpose, making the static drop feel utterly insignificant and small. The wind arrives as a messenger of change, shaking the very foundation of its existence. It trembles, caught between the safety of the leaf and the void. It watches the water below, dreaming of the power it does not yet possess. To stay is to evaporate into nothingness. To fall is to live. The pull of destiny becomes an physical weight. The green world around it seems to hold its breath, waiting for the moment of first brave departure into the unknown. With a silent snap of tension, the journey begins. The drop lets go of the only home it has ever known, surrendering itself to the gravity of fate. Falling is the first step of flying. In this suspended moment, the drop is neither here nor there, a pearl of liquid light descending toward its grand, watery future. It lands not with a crash, but with a ripple. The impact is a transformation, merging one small soul into a collective path that leads toward the great river. The trickle is a nervous beginning, a narrow path carved through the ancient stone. Every pebble is a mountain to be navigated by the growing flow of ambition. Merging with others, the drop finds strength in numbers. No longer a solitary speck, it begins to feel the thrill of movement, the pulse of a shared direction. The forest watches as the water gains momentum. Life thrives in its wake, and the drop begins to realize that it has the power to carry others. Adversity brings excitement. Every obstacle in the stream is a chance to roar, to break into white foam, and to see the light refracted in 1,000 ways. The boundaries of the forest fall away. The stream expands its chest, breathing in the open air of the meadows as it prepares for a much larger transformation. The roar of the river calls from the distance. The drop is being pulled by an invisible tide, a destiny that promises the absolute power it once only dreamed of. Expansion feels like victory. The drop is no longer just a drop. It has become a force, a path, a destiny, part of a massive, unstoppable liquid machine. The river carries the weight of the land. It flows with a gravity that commands respect, moving through the valley like a king returning to his ancestral home. It feels the pride of utility. To carry the heavy boats of men is to be a master of the world. The drop is now a foundation of commerce. Civilization depends on its flow. The drop sees the faces of people reflected in its surface, but it does not stop to listen to their humble, quiet stories. In the gorge, the river shows its teeth. The drop feels the exhilaration of pure force, crushing rocks and carving stone with the sheer persistence of its liquid will. The sun crowns the river in gold. At this height of its journey, the drop believes it is the source of all light, a shimmering god of the plains. But ambition knows no limits. The river pushes beyond its banks, testing its strength against the land, wanting to claim everything it touches as its own sovereign territory. In the vastness of the flood, the drop begins to lose its original clarity. It is now thick with the shadows of ambition and the debris of its conquest. The city brings a different kind of weight. The water becomes a mirror for human greed and cold stone, losing the vibrant green pulse of the wild forest home. From above, the river looks like an empire. The drop within it feels the intoxication of being part of something so large that it can never be stopped. It no longer cares for the individual leaf. The drop has become the current itself, a relentless tide of progress that leaves the small and the weak behind. As the sun sets on the river's journey, a new horizon opens up. The smell of salt begins to drift on the wind, a promise of ultimate, infinite power. The delta is a labyrinth of choice, but all paths lead to the same destination. The drop feels the heavy pulse of the ocean's heartbeat for the very first time. The meeting is a collision of worlds. Fresh water yields to the ancient salt, and the drop prepares to dissolve into the greatest throne the earth has to offer. It enters the abyss. The river is gone, swallowed by the infinite. The drop is now a citizen of the deep, a part of the world's great blue heart. Beneath the surface, a new kingdom unfolds. The drop is surrounded by life it never knew existed, in a world that operates on scales far beyond its comprehension. The surface is a distant dream. Here, in the belly of the sea, the drop learns the true meaning of pressure and the silent weight of a billion others. Even in its newfound greatness, it is humbled. The ocean is home to titans, and the drop realizes that its power is shared with things much older than time. The ocean is the ultimate throne, and today it is angry. Here, the drop is God, a participant in the raw, unbridled fury of the planet's greatest engine. It smashes against the stone, a soldier in an endless war between land and sea. In this violence, it feels a dark, intoxicating sense of absolute, crushing power. But the storm always passes. The ocean becomes a mirror for the moon, a vast, cold expanse of silver that stretches out into the reaches of forever. Yet, in the heart of the abyss, it finds only salt and coldness. Is this the greatness it sought? To be everything and yet to feel like nothing? Loneliness is the price of power. In the deep, where the sun never reaches, the drop is surrounded by silence and the haunting shadows of its own vanity. The horizon is a prison. No matter how far it travels, the ocean remains a cage of salt, a vastness that offers no reflection of the self it lost. But a new call is heard. The sun, the source of all life, reaches down to the surface, offering a way out of the salt and into the sky. To rise is to be free. The drop sheds its weight, its salt, and its history. It becomes light as thought, an invisible spirit ascending toward the heavens. Higher it goes, leaving the heavy world behind. The ocean becomes a memory, a blue floor that serves as the foundation for a new, ethereal dance in the sky. Above the world, the drop becomes a cloud, dancing with the wind. It is a part of the atmosphere, a ghost of water moving through the realm of birds. The weight of the self has vanished. In the cloud, there is only the rhythm of the wind and the warmth of the sun, a soaring, weightless existence. It becomes a mountain in the sky, a monument to the heavens. It looks down on the earth with the detached eyes of a god made of vapor. From this height, all the struggles of the land seem small and distant. The drop, as part of the cloud, feels a new kind of detached, airy superiority. Beauty is its new power. It paints the sky with the dying light of the sun, becoming a beacon for all who look up from the darkening earth below. But even in the heavens, the weight begins to gather. The cold of the high air begins to pull at the vapor, drawing the molecules closer together once again. The light turns into shadow. The freedom of the sky begins to feel like a burden as the gathering moisture becomes too heavy for the wind to carry. A storm is brewing. The ego's final cry is forming in the darkness of the heavy sky, a gathering of power that has nowhere to go but down. The air is thick with tension. The once light cloud is now a vessel of fury, pregnant with the weight of all the water it has gathered from the sea. Power, when uncontrolled, leads only to the fall. The lightning is the scream of the cloud, a desperate attempt to hold on to its place in the sky. The release is violent. In the crashing rain, the drop finally shatters its heavenly illusion, returning to the earth from which it once dreamed of escaping so desperately. It falls through the dark, a high-speed descent back to reality. The vanity of the cloud is being washed away by the sheer velocity of the gravity's truth. The fall is a death of sorts. The empire of the sky crashes into the mud of the earth, and the drop is broken into 1,000 nameless pieces, from the light of the sky to the darkness of the soil. The journey of the ego ends in the cold, wet embrace of the roots and the worms. But death is only a door. In the silence of the earth, the water is called by a different kind of power, the power of growth and quiet service. It rises again, not as vapor, but as lifeblood. Within the veins of the ancient oak, the drop finds a new purpose, a slow and steady climb. The storm has passed, leaving behind a world renewed. The air is clean, and the sun returns to touch the leaves with a gentle, warming light. And there it is again, a single drop, born from the earth and the sky. But this time, it does not look away at the distant, roaring horizon. It feels the warmth of the petal beneath it. It recognizes the life in the branch that holds it. It is no longer a stranger in its own home. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean, in a drop. The journey has taught it that greatness was never out there. True power is not in becoming more, but in realizing you are already enough. The comparison has ended, and the peace of being has finally begun. Happiness starts when the comparison ends. Cherish your current reflection, for it is beautiful exactly as it is, here and now, in this single moment. The small is the great is the small. In the silence of the morning, the drop finds the absolute power of simply being itself, forever. The cycle continues, not as a chase for vanity, but as a dance of existence. Every state is precious. Every form is a sacred part of the whole. From the cosmic view, the drop and the planet are one. There is no separation, only the beautiful, eternal flow of life returning to its source again. May you find the ocean within your own heart today. May you see the beauty in your own smallness and the power in your own quiet presence. And so the reflection fades, but the truth remains. You were never just a drop. You were always the entire, magnificent journey of the water's soul. Reflect on your path, let go of the need to be more, and discover the wonder of being everything you already are. The cycle is complete.